Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I'll be attempting to get a sweep off with one of my favorite fossil Pokemon of all time, that being Tyrantrum. Now Tyrantrum is super underrated in my opinion. I think it has one of the best designs in all of Pokemon, and its shiny form looks extremely good as well. So let's go ahead and get into the video. This is the Tyrantrum I'm going to be running. It's a Jolly Nature Tyrantrum with max EVs in attack and speed, and it has the Rock Hit ability. Now for item choice I'm going to be running a Muscle Band on it, so physical moves will do a little more damage. And for the moveset, I'm going to be running Head Smash, Outrage, Earthquake, and Superpower. So definitely a very offensive set. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and as always, let me know down in the comments what you want to see next. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into some battles, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alrighty guys, so go ahead and get straight into it. Here we have a battle against Lucy. So here my opponent's going to lead in with a Dusknoir, and I'm going to lead in with my Skarmory. Now those of you who have seen my videos in the past, you'll know how annoying this Skarmory is. It's pretty much here exclusively just to set up some entry hazards as well as spread out some damage. So here I'm immediately going to go for the Stealth Rock. The Dusknoir fires off a Shadow Sneak, which lands but doesn't do much damage at all. And my red card's going to go ahead and kick in. So my red card forces the switch, and it drags out a Licky. And my Stealth Rock is going to get on the field. So now that my Stealth Rock is on the field, I'm going to go ahead and try to set up some layers of spikes. My first layer of spikes fires off, and it gets on the field. The Licky goes for an Ice Punch, which unfortunately actually does freeze me right here. Now being frozen is definitely one of the worst status conditions that you can have in Pokemon. You don't really know how long it can last. It can last 1 or 2 turns or even 5. So my opponent withdraws the Licky, and she's going to switch back into the Dusknoir. The Dusknoir takes some damage coming in thanks to Stealth Rocks and the first layer of spikes. Now I don't end up thawing out this turn, so there's really nothing much I can do right here, so I'm just going to keep trying for the Whirlwind. The Dusknoir fires off a Fire Punch, which doesn't do that much damage, and luckily I do thaw out this turn. My Whirlwind fires off and it's going to get rid of this Dusknoir. And it drags out an Urshifu. So here I go ahead and attempt to get a second layer of spikes in. The Urshifu goes for a Dynamic Punch, which actually ends up confusing my Skarmory, so I've had 2 status conditions already. My Skarmory hurts itself in this confusion and pretty much is done right now. So here there's not much I can do really, so I look over my moves and I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Roost just in case I actually manage to survive. The Urshifu fires off a Wicked Blow, which is going to go ahead and take out my Skarmory, but that's fine. Luckily I did manage to get that layer of Stealth Rocks and the first layer of spikes in. So now I'm just going to go ahead and switch into my Rabombi. Immediately I go for the Sticky Web to try to get some speed control in. My Sticky Web fires off, and now my opponent's Pokemon will lose some speed coming in. The Urshifu goes for an Aerial Ace, which lands and does some massive damage to my Rabombi. Now here I could have gone for the Moonblast, but I actually decided to go ahead and go for the Stun Spore. My opponent's going to switch out the Urshifu. And she switches back into the Licky, which takes some damage coming in thanks to my layer of spikes and Stealth Rock. And it does lose some speed as well. My Stun Spore fires off, and it's going to go ahead and paralyze the Licky, which could be to my advantage later on. So here I go ahead and set up some Tailwind. Now I was fully expecting my Rabami to go down this turn, so I was just trying to get as many advantages as I could on the field. But my paralysis actually kicks in and the Licky isn't able to hit me. So here I'm just going to go ahead and go for Moonblast to try to get some damage in. My Moonblast fires off. And it does take out a good chunk of that Licky's health. And the Licky is going to fire off an Ice Punch, which ends up finishing me off. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch into my Poltegeist. Now as many of you guys know, Poltegeist is my go-to for setting up these sweeps. It's so versatile that there's a lot of things you can do with it. So here I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shell Smash. My Shell Smash is going to fire off, and I'm going to get a boost in attack, special attack, and speed. My White Herb restores my lowered defenses, and now I'm pretty much ready to Baton Pass. The Licky goes for an Ice Punch, which does some damage, but I managed to hang on, and luckily it doesn't freeze this time. So now I just go ahead and Baton Pass, and all I can hope for is that my Tyrantrum can survive at least one turn. So I go ahead and Baton Pass, and I'm going to switch in my Tyrantrum and try to sweep from there. My Tyrantrum comes out. The Licky goes for another Ice Punch, which is going to do some super effective damage. But thankfully my Tyrantrum manages to hang on, and it doesn't get frozen. So now I'm just going to go ahead and Dynamax, and I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Max Knuckle to get another attack boost. So now my Dynamax Tyrantrum comes out. Definitely one of the cooler looking Pokemon. I outspeed the Licky and I fire off that Max Knuckle. It lands and KOs the Licky and it gets me an attack boost, so now I should be hitting even harder. My opponent ends up switching back into the Dusknoir, which takes some damage coming in and loses some speed as well. So here I'm going to go ahead and go for the Max Rockfall after looking over all my moves. My Max Rockfall fires off, and it kills the Dusknoir in one hit, so that's 2 down on my opponent's side, giving me a pretty good advantage. My opponent switches into a Porygon Z. And here I'm going to go for a second Max Rockfall, hoping to KO. My Max Rockfall fires off, and it KOs the Porygon Z. pretty much bringing her down to only 3 Pokemon left. So now my opponent's down to her last 3 Pokemon, but she still hasn't Dynamaxed yet, so I have to look out for that. My opponent switches into a Duraludon. Just take some damage coming in as well as lose some speed. And my Dynamax turns are going to run out. Now thankfully I do outspeed, I fire off that Earthquake, and the Earthquake one-hit KO'd the Duraludon. So now my opponent's only down to 2 Pokemon, and she switches in the Urshifu. So here I could have gone for the Superpower or the Outrage, but ultimately I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a second Earthquake because of how reliable it is. My Earthquake fires off and it kills the Urshifu, bringing my opponent down to her last Pokemon. She switches in her last Pokemon, with its being a Tyranitar. Here I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Superpower, hoping to one-hit KO it. My Superpower fires off, and it kills the Tyranitar, winning me the battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and as I mentioned earlier, be sure to let me know what you want to see down in the comments below. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace.